Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning market analysis and trade plan setup for Tuesday, May the 13th, 2014. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder and head moderator of what we like to call Quantum Leap. It is a self-organized learning environment. We've had a private Skype room coming up on 5 years now. If you're interested in checking it out, it's a group of traders that get together on a Skype private chat and talk about the markets, talk about trading. You can send me a contact request at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Of course, you can send me an email at d.mckay@stealthtrader.com. Our new Stealth Trader website is coming soon. We have hired some people that are building it. It's going to be really cool, and hopefully you guys will look forward to coming and checking us out. Anyway, each morning we come together into this morning market session and go through my analysis and set up for the levels that I'm looking to trade and the targets. We do go through a regular routine which prepares us for trading. So if you're watching this on YouTube after the fact, you might want to skip ahead because we do start with the basic key numbers and key trends within the different time frames. And then we get into some more in-depth chart analysis. I got to get legals out of the way, so this information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. Only you are responsible for trades or investment decisions made. Trading futures or any instrument involves risk loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors can lose more than initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see inside of Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own plan, do your own due diligence. Okay, so let's just talk about yesterday, because yesterday we were looking for the breakout, and we were looking to go and take out that all-time high at 92.50. And we actually got as high as 93.25. The problem was yesterday is we had this 79.75 level identified as an area to do business, or the 86.75, and we opened auction out of range. Now, I don't just jump into trades, and we couldn't get into a trade right away. We ended up taking a small scalp. We got in at 84.50, and I took it off at 75.75, which was our, 85.75, which was our initial target. But then I made a mistake. I can't believe I went back and watched the video, and I even said, don't fade an open drive. Now, the open drive was somewhat of a weak open drive, but we did have initiative buyers stepping in, and I should have recognized that earlier and not tried to fade it. So I kind of gave back on that second trade yesterday, and then, of course, we did end up getting in and getting to the long side and making it all up. So it turned out to be a decent day yesterday. It's just, again, anytime you get an open auction out of range and you see initiative buying stepping in, don't try to fade that move. Just find a spot and stick with it and get ready for the possible trend day. So we're gonna be opening up right at or just at the high of yesterday. We closed yesterday to the tick on the high at 93.25, and that is our value area high. I think the key line that we're going to watch today is going to be this 90.75 and this 93.25. But I'll get into that. Let's get into checking out the our homework session. So let me just bring up the homework sheet. So, of course, we are way above the year open right now at 1837.75. We do have a new year high that was put in the Globex at 1896.75. This is something that I've mentioned before in the homework sessions, that in the last year and a half, when we've made new all-time highs, they have a tendency to put these highs in the Globex. I don't know why that is, but it is. And we also have a high probability, high tendency to go and test that high again during an RTH session. So 1896.75 is going to be a very key number above us. Our month high is 1896.75 as well. We are above our month open at 1879.50 and our previous month open at 1864.50 and our previous month high at 1892.50. So, I mean, the trend is very much intact to the upside. Going and taking a look at yesterday's intraday numbers, we opened the Globex yesterday at 74. We had a high of 82.25. Mark this 82.25 on your chart, because if we get below that 86.75, this is the target that I've got. It's 82.25. I'm front running that 81.50. I think if we get down there, we've got these wicks that we could get stuck in the wicks, and we get a chop around 81.50 in between that 79.75 and 86.75. I'll point it out on the chart when we get there. Our Globex low yesterday was 74, and then we opened auction out of range at 1882. Now, Howard's got an open auction out of range. It was an open auction out of range, but it did have initiative buyers stepping in, so you can label this as well as an open drive. And I would consider it to be a weak open drive. We did get a small little push, which we'll look at, but we did get a little bit of a counter rotation, but it only came back down to the open, to the tick. So we had to retrace back to the open at 82, and then initiative buyers stepped in again and took us up. We did have a trend day. We had a opening swing of 84.25 to 81.75, to a 2.5 point opening swing. We had an initial balance of 89.75 high and 81.75 low. We had one tick reversal on the open, so we opened at 82. They went to 81.75, and that's when the initiative buyer stepped in for a range of 8 points. Now, the key here is that the majority of the move was made on that open drive. We went up, we got up there, and then the OTF stepped away, and we basically had a 3-point harmonic rotation around balance once we accepted value up there. Intraday numbers were all higher. 1230 number 89.50. Our RTH high 93.25, RTH low 81.75, our close at 93.25, which was the high, and also our value area high, and our VPOC was 89.25. 20-day ATR ranges, you can see they continue to tighten still. I don't think that this is the end of the move. We had talked about it, and in fact I did that special webinar on a couple Fridays ago talking about that we are setting up for a major breakout, and I don't think that the breakout yesterday was the breakout. It's the beginning of a bigger breakout, and I am now anticipating to see into the 1900s, and I'll show you my targets there. Our value area high 92.25, which was the high and the close, and then value area low 1886.75, and we did this on relatively light volume. It wasn't really heavy volume. You can see the volume is tapering off. So this is something that you've got to consider, that this breakout happened on declining volume, which means that the OTF, were involved, but not to a major extent. So this gives me pause that whether or not, we'll get another trend day today and a break. But I think we're likely to get chopped with the upward bias personally, and we'll take a look at the levels. Looking at the daily report so far, and this is very significant, I think, that our 20-day ATR target is 1909.50. And why is 1909.50 important? Well, anytime you test a centennial number for the first time, you have a high probability of blowing through that by 10 points. We call it the rule of 10. And so the fact that the 20-day ATR target is basically, almost 10 points above the 1900 centennial number, I found that was kind of interesting this morning. And then the ATR session low is 1879.50, and again, that's right there at that 1879.75, which was our area that we wanted to trade off of yesterday to get long, and they didn't give us that opportunity because those initiative buyers stepped in. Looking at the news, we just had news. Core retail sales gave us a little bit of a wiggle, but nothing definitive, and really no other scheduled news until business inventories at 9. All numbers in here, times in here are in Central, so 9 Central, 10 Eastern, but nothing bigger than that. Taking a look at the trends, let's go over to the trends. Of course, you can see that this monthly trend is completely intact with making new highs and trading above all prior month highs. Good slope and separation on the 9 and the 20 EMA. This trend is very much intact on the monthly. The head and shoulder pattern that we were looking to see if it was going to set up on the weekly has been invalidated, with the fact that we've made a new high up at 96.75. So we have a week high of 96.75. It was the Globex high as well, because we put it in last night's. On the daily, you can see that we finally broke out of this consolidation, and we're starting. We do have a technical gap on the daily, so I would be looking for a close of this tech gap, likely close it through chopping around sideways if this if we're going to make the 1900s before a bigger retrace. But the tech gap can be closed through price and time, and I would imagine this gap is going to get filled somewhere in around either between 81.50 and 86.75, and I'll show you why when we get to the composite chart again. The geometric chart, we broke out now. I've just cleaned it up because I'm not getting any counter forks. Downward sloping forks right now because this is just too strong. So basically, we are holding inside of the lower channel of the longer term fork, and a test of the center line of the longer term fork is going to take us up to 1922. And I want you to write that down in your journal because that is a specific target that you want to have your eye on. 1910 would be the first, 1900, then 1910, then 1922. Same thing with this shorter time frame upward sloping fork. A move to test its upper line is 1936 area. So again, another measured move that you can utilize. A retest of the center line of the shorter term upward sloping fork will take you down to that 1880.50 area, and really the number for me there is that 1882.25 and 1881.50. But that would be the retest of the center line of the shorter term fork. Let's take a look at the trends coming into the intraday. You can see that, this is a beautiful example of the technical gap right here on the 4-hour. So you've created this technical gap, and we're going sideways right now, and we're likely to continue to go sideways or continue to come down to close out this technical gap right here. But the overall trend on the 4-hour is still very much intact until we get below the 9 EMA and possibly come down to test and close the technical gap against the 20. On the 30-minute, a little bit of a different story. We just have the sideways consolidation after coming up and putting in a all-time new high in the Globex, and we are below the 9 and the 20, but we do have a MA hug going on here at 94, 95 area, and generally that's going to give us a decision point. If we come back and retest that, which I think we will at some point in time. If we break above it, you can look for a move higher. If we reject it, then we're likely to come down and get a bigger retrace. Then just going down to the 5 minute. The 5 minute, a little bit of a different story. You had a moving average cross. You've got a naked cross right here at 95.90. There's the retest of the MA hug on the larger time frame, but mark that 95, 96 level down. That is the naked cross. Beautiful little tech gap here, tech gap, and this is an example of if you want one of the most simplest trade setups is just watch these tech gaps on the different time frames, especially if you get a tech gap foobar Mr. Sneaky, which I won't get into. You can review some of the older videos to see those. And we just closed that technical gap just now. So look for a break to see if we break above this 9 EMA for continuation to come up and take out that naked cross at 96 area. So let's take a look at the big picture. And of course, we are going to be opening just outside of range, just outside of value if we hold above the 93.25. So like always, look for initiative buyers to step in and to take us up, and the first target being the 96.75 will be our first target. But if you see sellers step in and we get inside of the prior day and inside of value, your first target below is 92.50. You want to get in, get funded, scaled by 92.50, with more likely coming down and testing this 1890.75. Below 1890.75, then I think we get a bigger retrace and a test down to at least the 50% of the significant breakout candle, if not coming down to this. I think this 50% is 87 something, but you've got the CLVN and basically the range high at 85.75. And if we get below that, then I'm going to take this and put this to the back so you can see this. See all these wicks right here? This is unproperly auctioned territory. So if we get back down here today, my hypothesis, if we get below this 86.75, is that we come down and we chop around and get stuck in the wicks between this 79.75 and 86.75, or the range high that we just broke out of at 85.75, and we just chop around here to further auction with the test of the value area high at 79 and possibly coming back down into the 75 microcomposite VPOC naked down here. But let's take a look at the overnight and then start moving our numbers over and set our levels up. So I do want to just bring one chart up here before we do this. You can see clearly that on the market profile chart that we have a P-shaped profile. Anytime you see a P-shaped profile, you're likely to come down and retest the lower levels and come into the distribution zone from prior day. So whether it happens today or not, but if you see, and you can see how this level is going to play out in around that 86.75, you see a move below that 86.75, we're likely to get a retest down into that 82.25 to 81.50 and re-auction this territory on the tail, this buying tail of the P-shaped profile. Just wanted to point that out as one of the possibilities. So we're currently trading right now. We have a high, overnight high, and new all-time high at 96. Let me just get rid of. We have an all-time new high, an overnight Globex high of 96.75. And we have a value area Oh, my value area changed. Why was that? No, it didn't. 92 and a quarter. I thought it was 93 and a quarter. So 92 and a quarter is your value area high, and your range high is 93 with your gap close. So on the open, if we open just outside of range and just outside of the close, and you see two-sided action, I'd be looking for them to come down first and take out the naked close and to test this 92 and a quarter value area high from yesterday. So 92 and a quarter is going to be my trade area. I won't use 93 and a quarter because I just think there's going to be too much chop rate here. So I would think that if they come down to take 93 and a quarter out, they're just as likely to come down and test this 92 area, and test the value area high. If you see initiative buyers step in here, you have a probability that we're going to come up and blow through this high at 96.75 and test it. We've got the current overnight VPOC at 95.50, and I don't think that that's going to change. So the inventory, the overnight inventory is net long off of yesterday. Our low from the overnight is also at this 92 and a quarter. So our overnight low is sitting on top of our value area high from yesterday, and this is going to get a little bit convoluted with everything in there, but you know that the gray area is a trade area. So to me, if we get below this 93 and a quarter, you're likely to take out the overnight low before we do anything in a test of this value area high. You've got a, let me get rid of this chart because we don't need that anymore, and let me just expand this out. You've got this 90.75, okay, which is a CLVN that separates the upper, balance around this 92.50. It's also right there at an LVN. We've basically had a double distribution with almost a F-shaped profile, but you still have a double distribution with this 90.75 being the LVN, and considering that it's also a CLVN, this is going to be a key area for us and our decisions, because even if we come down and take out the overnight low and get inside of value, the key line in the sand for me for how big of a retrace and how far we have to go down to pick up buyers is going to be dependent on this 90.75. Below 90.75, we've got a first target right here at 89 and a quarter, which is the naked VPOC. The 50% retracement is going to be 87.50, and then the value area low, okay, coincides with this CLVN right here and basically the range high that we just broke out of. So if we get below 90.75 and come and start testing these lower numbers, we're likely to come down and test the range high from the microcomposite that we broke out, which would complete a value area rule, 80% rule of coming down and testing the value area low. So this is going to be a major area down here at this 86.75 area and a retest of the CLVN and value area high. Below that, there really isn't anything until that 82. So below the target below 86.75 is 82 and a quarter. With 81.50 and a test of the range low down here at 81.50, at which point I'd be looking at possible responsive buyers stepping in. If they don't step in real strong at that point in time, then we could come down and test this value area high and the CLVN in around between 79 and 79.75. So that's going to be where I'd be looking for And I'm going to put it right at 79.50 so it encompasses both those numbers. And I forgot to take these off my chart, so I'm just going to take these down right now. All right, and then once we're below this 79.50, you've got the big number is down here at 75. And you got 73, 75 naked close, 74 naked VPOC, range low or high, I forget which one, at 75. But the most important one is the fact that our microcomposite VPOC for this balance area that we just broke out of is from April 30th through to yesterday is 75. So I'll be watching that 75. And again, if we get below 79 area, this is, I'd be, selling till my fingers bleed down to the 75 because there's too much, action down here and targets and unauctioned territory down here that they'd have to come down because they'll be inside of value of the the microcomposite, and there's really nothing for them to step in and do business below 79. So that would be a major extended target to the downside. Remember that the ATR target, not a trade area. Remember the ATR, 20-day ATR target to the downside is this 79.50. So if we get below 79.50, we're also getting outside of our 20-day average true range and likely to get a bigger move down here to pick up buyers. I'm just going to edit the preferences here. And then, of course, if we get the other side of that balance is that key CLVN that we were trading off of, all last week, which is at 68.25. And don't forget that our microcomposite VPOC that goes back all the way, this larger balance zone, back to February the 21st, and the composite VPOC. So that's still going to be a major magnet, but I don't think it's going to come into play until we get below the 68.25, because right now the bulls are in control right now and trying to take us up into this 1900s. So again, just to reiterate, open auction, out of range, out of value. If we get above this 95, I'd look for them to take the 96.75 with initiative buyers. The first target above that is going to be your 1900, and that's actually going to be a target and a trade area. Trade areas are also targets, remember that. And then above 1900, you've got the rule of 10 coming into play, and our extended target and ATR target to the upside. And we'll use the ATR target at 950 and front run that. But also just keep in mind that it fits perfectly with a break inside of 1900 at, I can't spell properly. And anytime you get a break of 1900, I set my first, or a centennial number, I set my first scale off at 02. So, but there's really nothing up here unless, Howard, if you've looked to see, what our fib extensions are into this area. I didn't have a chance to do that. Let's just quickly do that on the daily and see what we've got here.
Yeah, so far I'm showing a 20-day ATR at 1907.50 at the moment.
Well, you have to check the calculator then on the homework sheet, because the homework sheet, what do you got as a, what do you have as a low so far for the full session?
92.25.
Yeah, so 92.25 is giving me 950 on your calculator. So unless your sheet, so this is giving us a, into that 1918, 1920 is, where I'd look, and I don't have this set up for the 127 extension, but maybe you could take a look at it, Howard, and then just post it into the room. All right, so let's just take a quick look at where we are on the Renko. So currently right now the test of the center line is going to give you a retest of the range high from yesterday and the takeout of the naked close at 93.25. Center line on the Keltner is 93. If we hold above that, a test of the upper Keltner is going to take us up into the test 1900. No surprise there. Below the Keltner center line at 93, there's your 86.75 area to test the lower Keltner. See how these Keltner channels line up perfectly with the levels and why I watch them as I do. Let's take a quick look at the composite for the Russell. The big number right now on the Russell is this 3140. Above 3140, I think they go and test the value area high at 3380, and you got this former microcomposite where they tried to hold value, or where they found value before going up and hitting that swing high at 55 at 1135. So above 31, I'd target 3380 and 3520, and if we break out of that, the range high is 3680, but it's really this 39 that I think is it's 3860, 39 area. It's a former microcomposite VPOC, and it's a CLVN, and if we get above that, we're likely to come up and test and take out this naked close we still have up here at 1140.90 with the big number above us up here at this where they tried to hold value on this last swing high at 55 is at 1146. So that would be my extended target if we get above 39. If we hold below 3140, we've got the naked close here at 1129.60. I think we'll take that out and test this 31. It looks like we're going to open up inside of the range from yesterday, but the big number on the Russell is this 1121, and again, it is our microcomposite VPOC for the longer term, but more importantly, it is our composite VPOC, and as long as we're trading below 3140, my anticipation and my hypothesis is that we come down and take out this or retest this 1120, possibly come down to test the other side of balance around it at 1117.70. Below 1117.70, we have same numbers we were looking at on the upside, 15, 13, and 09, with the value area low being down here at 07. But you can see that this area right here is very blunt on the profile. We have undetermined fair value in multiple areas here, and we've got a lot of wicks right here. So the likelihood is that we just come down. If we get below 17, we just chop around between this 07 and 1770 area to further mature the auction right there. Let's just take a quick look at what it looks like against the intraday. Again, another P-shaped profile. We're trading 1128. VPOC from yesterday, and the close is 29. Fairly tight value area. A break below 26 will likely give you a move down to that 17, because this area is very poorly auctioned down here. But if we break above that 3160, 32 area, test the range high at 33. I'm sorry, the value area high at 33. That's also right where that microcomposite value area was, and above that you've got 35, 39, and then the 1140 area, with 44 being the big number above. So that's what I'm looking at on the Russell. Quick look at gold. Gold is trading 1297 right now. The key number for me is this 1298. Above the 1298, I'm looking for a retest of 1302.40. That is the value area high of the balance area. We're back into value and we're chopping around. Below 98, I'd be looking for a rotation down to 92, 89, with the big number being that 1284 again, and likely come down here if we can't get back above this 1298 and get into the 1300s. I think we'll just chop around with the slow drift down into these key levels at 92, 89, and 84 with the other side of balance, and the key line to hold for to prevent a bigger retrace is 1276.50. Below 1276.50, then I think we're going to come back down and test that 58 level that we were talking about. That would be my lower move on this larger cup and handle that we've been tracking on the daily for a while. So that's going to complete the morning homework session. It's 9:23, so we've got 7 minutes to the open. I'm not going to stick around this morning. I've got a lot of stuff I've got to get done. So this will complete the session, and I'm going to close the room down. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side.